Night swallowed me whole the moment I crossed into the woods. The world behind me, the streetlights, the houses, the safety I thought I still had, vanished like someone had blown out a candle. Only the cold, wet breath of the forest followed me in. I could feel it crawling across my skin, settling on my shoulders like invisible hands. Something moved between the trees, soft and deliberate, matching my steps like a shadow that wasn't mine. Rowan's hat thumped against my chest with every desperate stride, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if I was running from the Scarecrow or running towards something even worse. Branches whipped against my face as I tore into the tree line, lungs on fire, legs shaking like wet paper. Rowan's scream still echoed somewhere behind me, or maybe it was just stuck in my skull, refusing to unsettle itself. Every instinct screamed at me, "Don't stop. Don't look back. Don't even breathe too loud." I didn't know where I was running, only that anywhere was better than that road, that field, that thing. But Hollow Bend didn't give better as an option. Not really. Because the deeper I ran into the woods, the more wrong the world felt. The air got thicker, colder. The trees leaned inward, branches arching like bones reaching for each other overhead. Then the woods went unnaturally silent. No crickets, no wind. Not even my footsteps sounded right, like the soil swallowed the noise. My breathing sounded too loud, too human, and somewhere behind me something heavy moved. Thud. Pause. Thud. Pause. I pressed myself behind a tree, heart thundering so hard I thought it might echo. A voice drifted through the woods. "Rowan." Not my name, Rowan's. But the voice wasn't his. It was too stretched, too dry, like someone dragging a shovel across gravel while trying to sound human. "Rowan, where'd you go?" A chill sliced right up my spine. The Scarecrow didn't call people. It hunted by memory, by sound, by mimicry. I clamped my hand over my mouth. It wasn't calling Rowan. It was calling for me, using Rowan's voice. The thing lumbered closer, slow, steady, confident, like it already knew exactly where I was and was just playing with me. I crouched lower, trying to disappear into the bark. Every breath burned. The voice came again, clearer this time. "You shouldn't have run." That wasn't Rowan, not even close. Something dragged through the leaves, not feet. Something heavier, something pulled, like long fingers scraping the forest floor. I peeked around the tree, just a small glance, that's all, and I regretted it instantly. The Scarecrow stood in the clearing not 20 feet away, but it wasn't standing right. Its head twitched like a puppet held by someone drunk. Its arms hung too long. Its legs bent at angles that hurt to look at. Its burlap face had torn wider since the field, the tear forming a jagged, gaping slit full of soil and dead roots writhing inside. And its eyes, oh God. There were eyes behind the burlap, pressed against the fabric, straining, trying to push through. Human eyes, alive, blinking, watching. I nearly screamed but bit it down hard. The Scarecrow turned its head slowly, listening, sniffing the air with that sagging tear of a mouth. It whispered, "I smell someone new." My blood froze. Leaves behind me cracked, not from me. Something else moved. A shadow, human-sized, sneaking, watching the Scarecrow from between the trees. I squinted. Another person? They held something metallic, maybe a shovel, maybe a pole. They edged closer to the Scarecrow like they were hunting it. The Scarecrow stiffened, turned. The figure froze. The Scarecrow tilted its head, then spoke in a voice that made my stomach turn. "Martha, is that you?" The figure trembled. A woman's voice whispered back, barely audible. No, you can't still know my name." The Scarecrow lunged, not walked, not stepped, lunged. 1 second the woman was standing, The next, she was yanked off her feet, dragged through the leaves with a scream that choked off midair. Something cracked, loud. The forest went silent again, and I knew one thing with horrifying clarity. The Scarecrow wasn't wandering randomly. It was searching. It knew faces. It knew names. It remembered everyone who ever saw it, even years later. And now I had joined that list. I slunk deeper behind the tree, hands shaking so badly bark dug into my palms. The Scarecrow's voice floated lazily, almost playful. "Still hiding, little traveler?" My heart stopped. It wasn't talking to the woman. It was talking to me. I stayed pressed against that tree until my legs went numb. My mind kept replaying the woman's scream, the way it snapped into silence like something clamped her throat in one quick, decisive motion. The Scarecrow didn't drag her away. It didn't hide her. It just stopped her. And now it wanted me. The forest held its breath. Everything waited. Then, kirk, kirk, kirk. Leaves snapping under slow, deliberate steps. The Scarecrow moved again. Not toward the woman, not toward the road, toward me. I didn't hear its footsteps at first, just the sound of its fabric tightening, like old rope pulled taut. Then the whisper, drifting through the trees. "Come out, traveler." My lungs squeezed. I didn't dare breathe. "Don't make me follow your heartbeat." I nearly choked. How close was it? Could it actually hear a heartbeat? My chest tightened. Think, think. Rowan said rules. Rules. First, don't make eye contact. Second, don't run in a straight line. Third, don't follow the sound of its voice. The voice drifted again, closer, circling. I can wait. I've waited for many. A cold realization punched through me. It wasn't hunting like an animal. It was toying with me, drawing out fear the way a spider plays with a struggling fly. Fear fed it. I could feel that truth. I needed to move. Now. I crouched low and slipped from tree to tree, staying behind brush thick enough to blur my outline. Each step felt like walking on broken glass. But the Scarecrow stopped moving, stopped speaking. The sudden silence was worse, like it vanished. Or worse, like it was listening. I kept creeping until the trees thinned out and something appeared ahead. An old wooden structure, overrun with vines, a storage shed or abandoned tool shack. The door hung crooked, barely clinging to a hinge. Shelter, not safe, but maybe safer than being out here. I sprinted for it, low and fast. A branch snapped behind me, not mine. I didn't look back. I dove inside the shed, shut the door, and pressed my back against it. Darkness swallowed everything. The air inside tasted like rust and mold and something metallic, something like dried blood. I let my eyes adjust. Farming tools hung from the walls, rusted sickles, broken axes, coils of old rope stiff with dirt. A workbench sat in the corner with scattered jars full of seeds, dust, and something that looked suspiciously like teeth. No windows, no other exit, but at least there was quiet for a moment. Then, drag, drag, drag. Something heavy brushed along the outside wall of the shed, slow and probing, like long fingers tracing the wood. I held my breath, every muscle locked. The shed's boards creaked softly. Then a voice whispered through the cracks, inches from my ear. Knock, knock. I slapped a hand over my mouth to muffle the scream rising up my throat. The voice lowered, becoming almost gentle, inviting. Let me see your eyes. My blood ran cold. It scratched the wall again. I want to remember you. Shut up. Don't answer. Don't move. My pulse hammered so loudly I was sure it could hear it. Then, nothing. The scratching stopped. The voice stopped. Dead silence. Minutes crawled by, maybe 5, maybe 15. Slowly, painfully slowly, I peeked through a crack between the boards. The clearing outside was empty. No Scarecrow, no movement, no sign of anything. I exhaled. a shaky, fragile breath. Maybe it left. Maybe I'd lost it. Maybe something tapped my shoulder. Once, light, soft, human. I froze solid. Ice shot through my veins. Someone was inside the shed with me, behind me. I turned my head a fraction, just enough to see a face, close enough for our noses to touch. A burlap face, stretched, torn, eyes bulging behind the fabric. It was inside the shed, already. I never heard it enter, never heard the door, never heard breathing, because it didn't breathe. Its stitched mouth split wider, ripping, tearing open until the gaping hole spilled dirt and something pale into the dark. It whispered, "Found you." Just when the Scarecrow whispered, "Found you," everything inside me snapped loose. I kicked backwards, slamming into the shed door and crashing into the night air. I ran blindly toward the cornfields, anywhere but that shed. The Scarecrow didn't chase, not at first. It just stood in the doorway, head tilted, watching like it was considering something, deciding something. Then it stepped forward. Each step shook the dirt. I sprinted across the field, weaving, ducking, gasping, until I burst out near the road, the same broken road where my car had died. Except now the car wasn't dead. The headlights flashed, the engine hummed, the driver's door sat wide open. Someone was inside. A man wearing a familiar shirt, one I'd seen torn in the corn, one Rowan had been wearing. The man turned his head. Rowan, alive, perfectly fine, no wounds, no dirt, not even panic in his eyes. "Get in," he called softly, like we'd simply taken a wrong turn somewhere. But something felt wrong. He smiled too wide, too calm, too fixed. The wind shifted, and from behind the car, I saw it. The Scarecrow stepped into the headlights. I braced to run, but it didn't come toward me. It stopped. Its head fell to the side. Its stitched smile twitched. Then Rowan, or the thing wearing him, spoke again, voice hollow. "Come with me. It won't hurt." "Won't hurt who? Won't hurt me? Or won't hurt them?" I backed away. Rowan stepped out of the car, walking toward me with stiff, puppet-like movements. And that's when the truth hit me. He wasn't alive. He wasn't dead. He was replaced. The Scarecrow didn't kill everyone it found. Some people, it kept, emptied out, wore like clothing. My pulse hammered as Rowan's face twitched, burlap tight, skin stretching like something underneath was trying to hold shape. I turned and ran. Rowan didn't chase. The Scarecrow didn't chase. They didn't need to. I reached the highway, found a passing truck, escaped Hollow Bend. But here's the twist, the part that never leaves me. 2 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A familiar voice said, "Traveler, I remembered your eyes." I froze. The voice continued. "You left before I could choose a body, so I chose yours." I looked out my window. A figure stood across the street. My height, my posture, my clothes. A burlap face just beginning to pull over my features. And then, it spoke in my voice. "You're the Scarecrow now."